Mhm. Hello?
Hello.
How you doing? You alright? I'm a little bit early. Is that
No, it's
alright?
all right. I'm good.
You're good to go. Okay, cool. Welcome. First of all, let me make sure I pronounce your name correctly. Angeloumae.
Yes, that was right.
So I'm always really bad with pronouncing people's names.
No,
I
that's
like,
good. I don't
like
think
really awful.
people
Guy
don't
could
get
be
it
called,
right the first time.
yeah. Someone could be called Steve and I'd still pronounce it wrong. That's how bad it is. First of all, welcome. Thanks for joining me. How are you feeling? You alright?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. How are you enjoying 2020?
Uh, not good.
So I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't really laugh, but you have to laugh, otherwise you go crazy, you know?
Yeah. No, I want to go on holiday so bad. I want to get out of London so bad.
Yeah, I know. You know what is? I actually had that problem as well. So I just left. So I'm not even in London. I just left, and I'm just don't plan on coming back for the time being.
Where are you?
My big plan. I'm in Malta.
I used to go Malta every year.
Okay, cool. So you can tell.
My grandpa's Maltese, so we used to go like
Okay,
there a lot.
okay, and you're also from the Philippines, right?
Yes.
Forgot that, right? Okay, so where would you go if you were able to? Well, you are able to travel depending on where you're going, right? But where would you like to go?
Anywhere. I'm sure. Spain. Somewhere hot because it's getting cold now and I don't like it.
Don't deal well with the cold.
No.
Nah, no one really does. Everyone hates the cold. You know the best place to be cold is either if you go to like where's the Northern Lights again? Where the Northern Lights are?
The
Yeah,
Iceland.
yeah. Or New York. That's the
Yes.
best place to go. You know when it's like thick snow and it's like Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
No,
the
I've been
best.
wanting to go in New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you mostly work out of the UK. Do you do any work with people in the States? Because I noticed there's a lot of crossover happening now with artists going across the States trying to build relationships there, mostly from here on social media, actually. And then they take it across there and they get things popping there. Is that something you're experiencing at the moment?
No. I want to do that. I've just been finding producers online and like just going through beats and just doing that way.
And doing it for that. Is this how you came with the new single we got out at the moment?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because
so the new single is that way, but then the old singles from last year is through
love
a
that.
producer called Miguel. So he's based in London.
Okay, cool. The new one, the new single and the previous one is Love Don't, right?
Yes, that's my first single that I
Yeah.
put
Do
out.
you think there's been a big change in sound or production value from Love Don't to the current new single?
Definitely a change in sound and a change in everything. I think Love Done was actually the first song that I wrote properly in studio. Um, so I think I was going in with like an idea of the sound that I wanted to make. So the whole of last year was just experimenting, even still now experimenting, and just trying to find my sounds that I do like and like write into different beats. Because I don't think you know when people say you do R&B, right? I
Yeah,
don't want to just I don't like saying that I just do R&B because it just like boxes you. So I
yeah.
just experimenting with different sounds. Like I even did a song drill beat recently. So
You're trying to get that range. I know it's difficult because some people, you do one type of song and then you do another type of song and it's a similar sort of sound. So people straight away go, oh, you're an R&B artist, you're a grime
yeah.
artist, you're a pop artist, etc. But any obviously true artist wants to be expanded across the genres. But I feel like in the beginning, it's always about what suits them or
Yeah.
what they feel comfortable with or what brings out their talent. And I feel like in the songs that you've released, that's what I've got so far. But to me, from what I've heard, you're quite a new artist. How long have you been involved in music?
Ooh, maybe like 1 to 2 years now. But
Oh, is it? Oh, you got
I've
bare
always
time.
been
You got bare
singing.
time, man. You got bare time. Sometimes I talk to some artists and they've been doing it for 5 years or 10 years and they're like, okay, I still want to do this kind of project or that kind of project and whatnot.
Yeah.
But plenty of time. But you're not shy on performances as well. You've kind of dotted yourself around, especially East London,
Yeah.
in a lot of the performances. How do you find performances? Because for someone who's only been really doing music for a few years and then are straight on the performances, how's your confidence?
Ooh, it's actually all right. That's why I wanted to do more performances and open mics actually, is because one of the first performances that I did was actually last year for Filipino Festival, and that was a big crowd, and I was just like, oh, but it's something that you have to do. It's something that you have to be comfortable with, I think, to just overcome fears, you know. Because I think when I was younger as well, I just used to just do talent shows at school, just anything, just sing.
Oh, so you have a sort of level of experience being in front of people in that kind of way. Because obviously you do have a lot of artists who, they do perform, but it's not their strongest aspect of themselves as an artist. Because whatever it may be, stage presence or just confidence or whatnot, some prefer just to let the music speak for itself.
Yes.
But so now it's quite new. I'm quite surprised, quite new into how far you are into music, because your sound is very developed, in my opinion.
Wow.
Because from what I hear from different artists, I do know some artists who have been doing music for longer, and even so, some of their mixing and mastering isn't as good, or the lyrics are quite basic. So it's really, I thought it's just really about the arts as well. So tell us about the single and how it came about. I know you said you came with a producer called Miguel.
Yeah.
And it's obviously different sounding from Love Don't. Why did you decide to mix it up?
Okay, so Love Don't was more, so I was getting into a habit initially of just writing about love all the time and just trying to fit into an R&B box and just be very commercial. So the whole year I've just been writing a lot of different songs. And so I wanted the first song to be put out, because it's been such a long break as well, to be similar to Love Don't, because I don't want to put something so different out that people are going to be like, oh, you know, like it's so different. So I wrote Gyara just looking through beats on Beatstars actually. So because I couldn't go to any studios or to actually meet producers, I just was looking through like beats online. So I recorded it at home and then sent it off to mixing engineer Marlon, and then we put it out.
That's it,
Gyara's just about being like out.
Yeah. I have to ask as well, you know, you just spoke a little bit about R&B and the love and about R&B. It's a big R&B thing, isn't it? Everyone's just all in the feels. Everyone's all in the feelings. Everyone just loves, you know, I've been betrayed, or I love this person, I don't love this person loves me. It's kind of mad.
Yeah.
It's a madness, obviously. What's your opinion of love in 2020?
Love in 2020. I don't know. If you're in a relationship, it's either like this is the time to know whether it's like working or not working, you know what I mean? Not a time to meet new people, because you can't
Can't go there.
If you're in a relationship, I think it's a good time, because you know if you're meant to be with the person or not.
Okay. And what is love to you though, you personally?
Love to me?
How do you interpret it? Do you
love to me, you just know when you're in love. There's no explanation. You just know it's passion. It's like, you know when you meet the person. And love is going through things, and love is understanding, and yeah, revenge. I don't know.
That's great.
Wanting to take revenge. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna, and what I want to speak to you about as well is, aside from the performance and of course the new single. Oh, you did some work with I Saw It First as well. I've seen a few of your videos up on there. How did that whole thing come about?
I think I Saw It First. They were taken in submission videos.
Okay.
And so because I just put music out, I wanted to just be involved in it. So I submitted, I think it was Love Don't, and then they put me into, I think they only chose a few people, I think 10 or more. And then we shot kind of music video for each person that got through. They shot a music video. We got invited to their office, and we kind of was able to perform there as well. So it was a good experience. So.
Yeah. Well, the year's pretty much almost done, but I heard there might be a project coming out. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
How do you know about that?
I know it all. I know it all.
Wow. So yeah, so we were supposed to put a project out this year, called Maldita, but
Okay.
I don't.
Where does that name come from? That's
Maldita's Tagalog, so it's Filipino.
okay.
So it means like, it means kind of like you're not a traditional Filipino girl. People will call you a Maldita if you're kind of bad or if you're a bitch. Kind of thing.
Okay.
So I wanted so the change in sound is also going to be more obvious in the project, I think. It's more like hip hop type aggressive beats, bringing influences from Aaliyah. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is, since you mentioned it, what is a typical Filipino girl and what's a non-typical Filipino girl?
A traditional Filipino girl is, they know how to greet elders. They know what's the right way of speaking to elders. They're very nice and polite.
Okay. And you're not
because I was born in the Philippines, but I moved to London and moved to Scotland, and I was always backwards and forwards. I wasn't brought up traditionally, so I was always called that because I'm not. It's not that I'm a good Filipino girl. It's just because I always was like kind of like the outcast.
Okay, that's interesting. Is that to do with the move into London and Scotland and going back and forth like that?
And not being around family as well, because I think Filipinos are very family orientated. They have big families and they're around them all the time. So it was just me and my mom growing up. So that's why I wasn't really taught like how to act like traditionally.
Okay. So what's been the biggest change for you being born in the Philippines, and how long was you there for before you came to London?
I was only in Philippines till 5, and then from 5 years old, I moved to Scotland, and then Scotland to London, to Philippines for a bit, to London, back to Scotland, and then so it's
it's quite interesting because they're like 3 not random places, but what's the biggest difference between all 3 of them, would you say? The most common difference?
The most common difference, I'd say, that Scotland and London and Philippines is like the weather and how people act differently. So in Philippines, the weather's good, but then even though people don't have much, they're always happy, kind of thing. Where they don't need much to be happy. But then because the weather in Scotland and London's always gloomy, it's like people
affects your mood.
Yes. So I think that's one big thing that I know.
So a little bit earlier, when you were talking about the project, you mentioned that it's more towards like Aaliyah sounding. What are your other kind of musical influences? And have you got UK artists that you would love to do a dream collaboration with if you could pick a handful?
So I'm very influenced by Rihanna, kind of like the rated R version time period of Rihanna. Who else? I really like Beyonce, Brandy. I also, production-wise, I also listen to a lot of like Pusha T, Kanye, Future. So it's all like hip-hop type beats. And also that's one thing as well, is that I noticed that a lot of girls aren't doing more aggressive type of R&B, if that makes sense. Where it's all, there's a lot of mellow and slow, but that's why I wanted to do more like aggressive and hard.
Edgy.
And then
I do get that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And then also the dream collaboration would be with Bree Runway, because she's amazing.
Yeah. Because I do get a lot of that that vibe, or just obviously your socials and stuff, of the kind of edginess that you're leaning towards. So is it going to be, if you could describe what the album's going to be like? Because in my mind, it's a mix between like sort of sexy and sultry, and then a little bit edgy, but then with a lot of like outrage as well.
Yes.
Is that it? I'm just based on kind of what you said and stuff, and yeah. When can we expect it out then? Is it still going to be the end of this year?
It's going to be next year. It's going to be by February time.
Okay. Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to put it out on Valentine's Day.
Okay. So where does this rest of this year take you then, in the sense of music? Is it just about the single now? Are we going to get any more singles before the end of 2020, if we last 2020, obviously?
Yeah. A lot more singles to come. I have a drill type of song as well.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Doing.
Yeah.
The visuals are coming for Gyara sometime early October, and I kind of want to put visuals out for like a lot of songs, because I think they just push the music more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan and a good shout. I know you mentioned a lot of US artists there that you could ideally work with. Is there any in the pipeline on the project or in the near future that you would like to work with, who are UK artists?
Yes. So I want to do it, but I don't know how to ask people. So I want to do collaborations with like Koji. Bree,
Koji. Okay.
Bree Runaway. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's just like,
she's cold.
My main one. Yeah.
I think K Radical. Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. You just getting them DMs, man. Getting them DMs and get it running. That's the best thing to do as well. So in the next, God knows what's going to happen at the end of this year, but what's the plan for your musical journey? Where do you want to be in the next 3 years?
3 years. I think what my plan was, I really wanted to keep pushing out projects every year, and singles. I kind of want to do that. You see how you always expected like Rihanna and Drake to come out with a hit in the summer. I want to do that, but because that's also why I didn't put out a lot of singles this year, is because people aren't out. So some of my music, like, you have to be out to experience it. So that's one thing. I want to eventually be touring, if that's a thing. If that's going to be a thing in the 3 years.
Yeah.
And